My name is Alyssa Perez. I am from Milpitas, California in the Bay Area, and I'm a class of 2015. I double majored in political science and theological studies. This question is really hard because I had a lot of favorite things during my time at LMU, but I definitely think the first thing that came to mind was being ASLMU president. That was such a unique experience, and I actually remember just the weeks that we were campaigning being probably the most fun part, just having a reason to talk to random students and go up to people and get to know them. And they were crazy weeks, but I actually remember the campaigning weeks of getting to know people across campus better being some of the best parts. And obviously senior year, being in ASLMU was awesome. And just the friends that we made, the things that we were dealing with that year, it was a lot, but it was good, and I was grateful to be in a position where I was able to bring folks together and try and do something about what was going on and make things better. I was really involved in service. I was in a service org. I did the CASA study abroad program, which was a service study abroad program. I was doing El Espejo. I was involved in service, and initially it was because I liked doing service and it was the right thing to do. But I actually think that the AB trip, I went on an AB and an IC in the same year, my junior year, and then I studied abroad. And the combination of those three experiences really showed me how important it was to get outside of myself. And I know we talk about it a lot and get off the bluff and go do and meet and see and learn from. But it really was more than that. It was really how do I get outside of myself, and how do I not just focus on myself? How can I be using the degree that I was getting, or the papers that I was writing, or the skills that I was learning? How do I use those to benefit others and not just myself? Being a first gen student, I think I had a lot of pressure to do for me and my family, obviously, but those experiences really just showed me how important it was, the with others. We talk about being people for and with others, and really that with others part was huge for me. And I don't think I really got it until I was able to put myself into those situations, and to really, some of my best teachers are in Latin America across, for different reasons. I ended up doing post-grad service in Central America and Belize. And I think some of my best teachers were there, and they weren't professors, right? They were just folks that I met that helped ground me and to remind me what's important in life. It was really easy to get caught up in the hustle of college, or even the drama of college sometimes. But being on those experiences and starting to think about what my life would look like after LMU, I really just kind of grounded in on those lessons that I learned from folks in Latin and Central America about just what life is about and how important it is to just be in community and to just be with other people. I don't think many students even know what a president does. And really when I hopped into the role, I had a friend who was in that position before me. So I was pretty prepped, but it was a lot, right? It was our full-time job. We were being paid to do what we were doing, to be meeting with the president, meet with Dr. Beauvais, to sit on committees, all these sorts of things that people I don't think realize that we, as president, your ASLMU actually has tons of power on campus. So once I was able to kind of learn where the different areas and where the strengths were that the students could have, and the say that we could have on campus, we were able to mobilize. So my director of social justice at the time, and I know the positions have changed a little, the year I was president, the big conversations were around Sodexo and Coke. A lot of students were interested in getting Sodexo workers a fair wage at that point. It wasn't really the call to get rid of Sodexo. It was really mobilizing around supporting Sodexo workers. And that year was the big campaign to get Coke off campus. Again, arose out of student concerns about what was going on at their school and where their money was going, and the kind of support that their institution was showing or not showing. So those were two of the biggest things that we focused on my year, was just opening up conversations about social justice and inviting folks into the space and helping them to realize ASLMU was their student government. One thing we could have done was help students understand that ASLMU is theirs, and we were their student government, there to represent them. Was a good legacy for me to hopefully have left behind. In a nutshell, the Alternative Breaks program is a service immersion program, less on the service, more on the immersion. We try really hard not to plan trips or to send students to go do service or to help or to save anyone, but really to go learn from. Each trip is focused on a social justice issue, and whatever that issue may be, we happen to go to a certain country or place to learn about it more. So I'm currently the interim assistant director for Alternative Breaks and Advocacy, and it's a position that I had been interested in, and after a series of unreal things that happened last semester, I ended up in the position almost the week that COVID hit and the trips got canceled. So I inherited a program and moved into a new role where the trips were being canceled, COVID was happening, and it kind of sounded like my entire job would not exist, right? Like I ran immersion programs, and if there was a pandemic, people weren't traveling. So initially, my work was to help cancel the programs, help connect with our community partners and talk about what was going on, because it was just looking so different and the virus moved so differently in different parts of the world. I had to call our international partners and talk to them about what was going on, do the logistics of canceling things like flights and programs and getting students home. It was a mess. And after that, we were trying to figure out, like, okay, these students had spent so much time getting ready for these trips. How can we do something to honor like the work and the energy that they had for these issues and for the communities that they were supposed to visit? AB virtually this year has looked like we ran 3 trips over the winter break, and it was really just like, okay, let's see what we can do with a virtual space. And it was hard coordinating, just trying to figure out time zones and if people could pivot, could we get internet in certain parts of where we were hoping to visit, would it be the same? And after those 3 trips, students and myself, my own experience being on them, they were so impactful. And yes, nothing can replace travel, obviously, and that's a huge part of what the AB program is. To be a Lion, this is actually kind of funny. The first thing I thought of was like the Lions Code, and I don't know if I teach the LMU Cares classes now, so maybe that's why it came out. But when I think of the people who emulate like what it means to be an LMU graduate, or even what we hope for, or the people that I looked up to when I was there, to be a Lion to me means someone who's committed to justice. And I know, having been in the circles that I was in at LMU, service circles, the leadership circles, I was involved in campus ministry too. It was so easy for me to just look around and find all the folks who were like so committed to justice on and off campus. And I remember that being so inspiring for me. And I wanted to be one of those people. And I hung around them and I learned from them and was trying to figure out like, where is my place in all of this? So for me to be a Lion, it means really to live our mission of being with and for. And I know that gets said a lot, and I hope that doesn't dilute it. But truly, like, what does it mean for you as a Lion? What did it mean for me as a Lion to be with and for others? And that looks different for everyone. But as long as we keep asking that question and keep pushing ourselves to be uncomfortable, that's the best of what it means to have an LMU education and to be a Lion, even after you graduate, right? Like, that stays with you.